What's going on, guys? Brent Edmonds back with you. So the whole purpose of all these bonus videos, um, you can still make it to college baseball. You can, without having to go through these strategies. It's still possible. I was basically able to do it, but I did have a good portion of what this whole program entails. Um, so I mean, one of the biggest things was my routine. Okay. So virtually my routine, um, my routine was my number one most important thing that I had. You know, especially being undersized. I mean, if you were an underdog, when you carry that underdog mentality, even if you're bigger or you're on the smaller side like I was, it doesn't really matter. I mean, if you carry that chip on your shoulder, I mean, you're always going to stay motivated, stay hungry. Like somebody's out there to take your job, and or somebody like me pushing you to get better. And that's one thing that football really made some, especially this one senior. It was absolutely hilarious. He got so mad at me that he cheap shotted me all at practice, all the time. And I kind of got fed up with it, and I would still go 100%, and he was upset that I was still going 100% in practice. When it was later on in the season, playoffs coming up, and I looked at him when he said that to me. I'm like, then keep getting better. All right, if not, then let me play. Yeah, I mean, if you don't want it, I'll come and do it. Keep working hard, keep busting, man. Like, that was the number one mistake that you could say to a person like me. Like, I was never gonna let up. I didn't care if it was later on in the season or not. I mean, my will to try winning and be better was stronger than majority of the people out there. And the whole purpose of these bonus courses are to show you that even if you lack in some of those areas, and I mean that it's not going to be the end of it for you to make it. It won't, but you still need to develop some of those most key components. I mean, I see it too often nowadays that some of the kids just they lack some of the basic traits, right? I mean, especially communication. Like, I mean, I get it. Everything with communication is easier. I prefer text too, but I mean, the interpersonal skills are so lacking, and um, I mean, you'll even see it with a lot of the really good, talented players too. So I don't want anybody to get stuck because they lack in some of these areas. So I want to be able to teach you through it. So first, I mean, my routine, I mean, it really wasn't ever taught. I mean, they kind of like threw it in there every now and then, kind of like mixed it in. Like, hey, in the batter's box, you face a pitcher, do this, work on getting your front foot down and timing them up. But I mean, my routine was my routine. I remember being asked. I mean, I think it was my junior year. My first full year at varsity baseball, and it was for the yearbook, and one of the guys came up and asked me, in the yearbook, for the baseball section, like, hey, what do you believe in superstition? I'm like, I'm very superstitious, and of course, knowing the definition of superstitious now, it's not superstition. It was just my routine. I'm like, hey, I put my socks on the same way, right one first, left one second, compression pants. I go in order, with what I put on. I put on my eye black in a certain way, and every single day. or every single game. It never changes. I may listen to music, I may not. It all just depends. And it just all depended on um that depending on if I was feeling music that day or not. If I wanted to tune people out or something out, or maybe it was a bigger game and I really was not up for goofing around and staying focused. I may throw in that music, just so I could stay focused and get a little bit extra motivated before that game. And then pregame, warm up same way. Um, you get your cleats on, you go out with your teammates, you take your jog out to center field, you come on back, you do your lines, between dynamic and doing your arm circles. Then you get into your throwing program. Um, the only thing that may have changed would be if I was pitching that day. So like even after long toss, I may sit down for a little bit, do some focus on the game, hydrate up, but then I grab my batting gloves, and go through a little hitting routine. Sometimes we went and played pepper. If you guys don't know what that is, definitely incorporate it because it's fun. It keeps you relaxed, and then it gets you focused on barreling the ball, and also even for fielders, and it's overall fun. Sometimes you play two ball and whatnot, but if I was pitching that day, go in, sit down for a little bit. I'm not grabbing my bat. Not really. I wasn't really worried about hitting that day. Um, I've done enough work that I would be able to trust it. The biggest focus was doing my job on the mound and sit and relax, time it up, and then going through my pregame bullpen up until about the game was going to start. I had a nice sweat going. Come back in, get a little drink, go out and pitch. That changed up a little bit in college, my routine, especially since, I was mostly a PO. And, that routine changed. You add in bands, add different type of long toss, different routine that I would do by myself until I got ready with my catcher. Come and relax for a little bit before I did my pregame bullpen, virtually the same way I warmed up pitching the pitching routine. So if you're a starter member, that pitching routine was exactly what I learned, exactly how I followed was pounding, getting that focus, pounding both sides of the plate, work your off speed pitches for a certain amount, work from the stretch. Wasn't until later on when I just went straight stretch, but I incorporated the more wind up. If you're struggling with a pitch, you kind of focus on that pitch a little bit more. Make sure you get it down. Then post game, like if I had a bad game, I wasn't talking to nobody. Even if I had a good game, I kind of be excited to talk about it. But other than that, you got your next game coming up. That's where that focus went. In game, I'll be honest. I didn't have. Well, no, I did have a routine. I was thinking of the mental game, but in game, my glove always went with the other people. I would always set it a certain way, keep the form in the glove, respecting the glove, respecting the equipment. Hat goes on top of it. I would never wear my hat in between. My hat always came off, especially when I was pitching. Helped me cool down and all that, and just one thing, I kept it with it. If I was pitching that day, I had my jacket, put that on. Bat, helmet, batting gloves were either in the back pocket or in my helmet. Anything extra like a pro hitter were, I never had the elbow guard, but if I had an elbow guard, that would have been in my helmet with my stuff at all times. Everything was just always in the same place, same way. So yeah, we went over post game. I mean, even after the game, making sure you're eating right, you're refueling your body. Do some stretches. If it was like a high school game, I'm doing my homework. Um, Recovery mode. That's when the stretches come in. We always had a hot tub and a pool, so go sit in the hot tub for a little bit, bounce in the pool. Well, the pool may not have been open in the high school season, but the summer season, 100%. I'd spend 5 minutes hot tub, pool, 5 minutes hot tub, 5 minutes pool, 5 minutes hot tub, pool. Maybe do some laps, maybe do some running, some stretching on the ladder. Especially when I was injured, like because I pulled my hamstrings a few times, and that was part of like my recovery routine. Um, Shower, and then you repeat, and then you get back to work the next day. Okay. Um, so virtually, I mean, this was a shorter video. Just kind of speaking about my routine. Especially you form a routine. I mean, you can make it. Will it be absolutely perfect? Probably not. But I mean, it could be good enough to get you to that next level. Okay, but the importance of your routine is how well you are going to end up succeeding, especially at this game. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that you guys are all aware that the importance of routine is absolutely astounding. Okay, so build up that routine. Okay, and then even, I mean, especially in game. Okay, having an inbox routine, a pitching routine, being able to drain it, flush it, move on. Especially within the mental process. I mean, because your routine is your routine, and that's going to be how you get back on track. Okay, if you start slipping off of it, you got to go back and rely on the routine, the thing that works best for you. Okay, so stay tuned. I'm gonna go get the next video up for you here in a moment, which the next video is what I had versus what I didn't have. Okay, and that's gonna be pretty much going through, the program on what I had versus what I didn't have, and how you can still make it. Okay, so stay tuned, get to studying, do all that, do all this great stuff. This is awesome and powerful stuff. So take this stuff serious. Okay, this is all the stuff that I wish I knew when I was in high school, and I kind of formulated it on my own. Alright, I was kind of lost, and then you kind of learn, and you're like, oh man, I was doing that. I do that. Oh, that can improve, this can improve. And then you add more on to what you know versus what you don't know. Okay? Keep learning, keep getting better.